Hi, welcome to video number 8 in our series of interviews that I'm doing with artists that are going to be playing at Kirikul next year. Today I'm going to be interviewing none other than Mal Eastick, talking about his career, how he first started playing guitar. Actually, he didn't even play the guitar at first. He was a mandolin player. Oh, wow, bet you didn't know that one. But anyway, take it away, Mal. So yeah, here I am with Mal Eastick, and Mal Eastick's going to be performing at Kirikul next year with the Spirit Band, which I'm really looking forward to that one now. It's going to be a
we are too.
Yeah. So I'll start from the beginning. You know, what got you into guitar? You know, you must have started at an early age. You know, so tell us that story.
Believe it or not, the very first still surprises me to this day. My grandfather, completely unexpected to me, gave me a mandolin for my 10th birthday. It was one of the old original style with, you know, the bowl body shape with a big crack in it. Must have been given away by somebody. Anyway, it was like my first stringed instrument, and after giving it a shot, the principle of mandolin, which is like there's a note you hit it 4 times, you know, didn't really click with me. But, you know, the idea of having a stringed instrument did click straight away. And there's a mixture of school commitments and other obligations. I never really took it, was able to do much with it until my mid-teens. But I also played sport, and I broke my right arm twice and my left arm once when I was a young teenager.
Yo.
And after I broke my right one the second time, my doctor, I said, I'm starting to play a bit of guitar. And he goes, well, you better stop playing football, because if you break that a third time, that isn't going to mend right. Bang, I stopped footy, and I've done guitar ever since.
Oh, thank God you stopped footy. That's all I can say.
Well, I was never going to make the A grade, let me tell you. But I did have a reasonably good kick.
Yeah, excellent. So you know, so was Stars your first band, like, or was there another band before that actually? Or something?
No, the very first band, excuse me, very first band was a band called Astrakhan. You know, it's a Russian word with the Khan. Andrew Durant, who was our leading songwriter in Stars, we actually met when we were late teens. I met Mick Peeling too when I was 16 and he was 15, the singer of Stars, and then. But we didn't actually all click together straight away. We just met by playing in friends' garage when we were like 16 years old. And Glyn Dowding and Andrew Durant and I then really connected, and with a different singer and different bass player, we formed this band Astrakhan, which was the first gigging band.
Yeah. And
we were so excited to be able to do this thing, but I had ambitions to want to keep doing it right from the beginning. Astrakhan lasted about a year and a half, playing all the pub gigs in Adelaide. And after that, Mick Peeling and I connected, and it led to starting Stars with Glyn Dowding on drums and Graham Thompson on bass, who was only 15 years old when I asked him. And Andrew Durant, after that, actually went into a different direction, more like King Crimson and different kind of music.
Oh, wow.
So Stars actually started as a 4-piece. And we put out 2 singles. The first one was co-written by Mick Peeling, myself, the second one by me. Then Andy reconnected with us. Bang, we became 5-piece, and then promptly he wrote most of our first album. And away we went, 4 years full-time on the road.
Yeah, right, yeah. So I suppose that leads me to just play a little clip of because I remember when this came out on when I saw this on Countdown. You know, just
the mighty rock, mighty roll. Once it's got you, won't let go. It don't yes you do. The mighty rock's coming after you, yeah. Do you remember the first time on that bar floor? The band was punching out a hard line. The crowd was jumping and screaming for more. A man stood up on the bandstand.
Wow, got long hair there, mate.
And about here.
Yeah.
So one thing one of the things I really hated through my schooling and mum and dad was they were, the classic old short back and sides every 3 weeks caper. And as soon as I was able to break the mould, I grew my hair real long. But for most of the stars, we all had long hair.
Yeah.
Just before our second album, times changed and haircuts got involved.
Yeah. So are you self-taught? Did you teach yourself, or did someone start?
No, totally. Totally self-taught.
Wow.
It was, I mean, going through high school, I was doing well with my studies, and I think my parents probably saw that playing music was the wrong distraction. It wasn't. I distinctly remember having my 45 single on my desk in my bedroom, just going over and over and trying to learn a guitar line. My parents going nuts and get that thing off.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Because in the days now, with YouTube, people can just, figure it out real easy on YouTube and just.
Man, it was how many record needles and how many vinyl discs I was going to go through before getting it right.
Yeah.
It was just learning by ear. Excuse me. I think one of the most definitive things about getting started, as well as being attracted to blues nature, British rock guitar such as Jimmy Page, Paul Kossoff from Free, Eric Clapton, was the fact that you could never get any of that on sheet music. So I think as a young guy, I was certainly hoping to be able to go to the music store, and I can remember even getting a Cream songbook, and it had the lyrics, the notes of the vocal and the chords and a bass line, and there's no guitar solos in it at all. So you imagine Eric Clapton just going nuts, and that's why I probably like the record, but that's the bit that's never in the sheet music. See, so although I tried to find it, there was no answer other than doing it by ear. Yeah, and I've got to say there was definitely a hard road without any influences around me to give me any tips. Like I'd ask the best guitar player I could find, "How do you do that?" "Oh, I don't know, I just do it." Yeah. Which meant just go away and do it yourself. But
figure it out.
I think, in the long run, in hindsight, I'm really glad of that, because it's very demanding ear training and, listening and interpreting. And I love to teach guitar too and emphasise exactly that issue.
Yeah.
By doing the hard yards and doing a lot by ear. Otherwise, you rely on that book.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not in Sydney at the moment, or at home. What are you up to at the moment?
Well, Stars, the band that we're talking of, we ended at the end of 1979 in front of 160,000 people, I should say, at the Sydney Opera House. It's called Concert of the Decade.
Yeah, I know that. I remember that.
And as young guys, we suffered a bit from the time when punk came in, around 1978, Sex Pistols. And even though our first album, Paradise, had gone gold, our second album, which we really did believe in, certainly suffered from a change in the market, like most bands of our ilk.
Yeah.
Blues was really starting to do more of a calling on me. And I was invited by Broderick Smith to play in his band called Broderick Smith's Big Combo, which was playing blues.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, it really smacked me around the chops too, because it made me realise how much playing in a rock band or a country rock band does not necessarily make you qualify for blues. It's another study again. but I've always been blown out by Eric Clapton. Paul Kossoff, that I mentioned before, was hugely influenced by Albert King. Eric Clapton was hugely influenced by Freddie King. And when I first heard B.B. King, and I've got to say, to this very day, the three Kings are three of my biggest influences. Well, they were the ones who influenced Eric Clapton in turn, and Stevie Ray Vaughan, and even Jimi Hendrix. That kind of lead guitar really does it for me.
Yeah, cool. So you did a bit of a stint with Barnesy, with Jimmy Barnes too, for a while. How did that come about? Like, how did suddenly that happen?
Well, I've got to say, the very first time I ever knew of Jimmy Barnes was when we were starting to form that band Astrakhan. We couldn't find a singer. I think that's another part of my beginnings. We were rehearsing every week for months without a singer. And just memorising all the guitar bits, memorising without a singer there to help know when a verse ends, a chorus starts. And then I heard about this guy on the other side of town who you should really check out. His name was Jimmy Barnes. And I started to inquire about him. Oh, sorry, mate, he's just joined a band called Orange, which, as I understand it, turned into Cultures. So even though I heard of him, we never connected. And then when Stars was rolling strongly and touring the country, Cultures were as well. So we were like the two at that particular period of time in Adelaide's history. It's brought up many great bands. We were the two that were almost like competitively on the road, crossing paths, but getting together. And we were very much the signature of Adelaide music in the late 70s. Yeah,
wow. Okay, so, well, that brings me back to another clip. Sorry.
After being on the road, doing that and playing with Broderick Smith, I moved to Sydney in about 83. I found it very tough, by the way, to get in, even though I've been flat out in Melbourne for 7 years with Stars and Broderick. Moving to Sydney was something that attracted me. I've lived in New South Wales ever since. It was hard to get a gig. It was like proving yourself all over again. And I was lucky enough to get a tour with Max Merritt. What a great guy. Just really, it was a wonderful time. That in turn had me meet some Sydney musicians. I did a tour with, it was a joint two-star tour with Glenn Shorrock, Little River Band, and Renee Gale, and then reconnected with Jimmy Barnes and started working on sort of doing some demos with him. And it wasn't, I think it was coincidental, to be honest, but it wasn't long after that Chisel broke up.
Yeah, right.
And then Jim asked me to be his first lead guitar player.
Yeah.
And Mossy's one of my favourite guitar players of all time. I've got to say, standing in his shoes was no easy feat.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, that brings me to this clip I've got, and, I think you do a pretty good job. So I remember seeing you with the Barnstorming tour, which was classic. I remember going to, I think it was the Sydney Entertainment Centre, and thinking, gee, I've just seen like Mal play, I think you were still doing some solo stuff, not solo stuff, but the Mal Eastick band in between, were you? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I saw you with Lonnie Mack. I think it must have been Lonnie Mack or something. And then I went and saw you at the bloody entertainment centre and just looked around and went, geez, the place is chock-a-block. And there's Mal, like ripping up the bloody stage. It's definitely a memorable moment of seeing you play. I mean, obviously from the basement to the entertainment centre. Jeez.
Yeah, and see, from my point of view, it was more like the hard yard pub circuit, and playing the entertainment centres with Jimmy is definitely, together with that Stars gig at the Opera House in 1979, are definitely the biggest and most exhilarating crowds and challenge.
Oh.
I love the challenge of playing the big shows.
Yeah.
But, as a blues player now, they're not easy to find.
Yeah.
But another thing that it can make of a player too is, what I call a big match player. Mm-hmm. To be able to play the small bars, but also big festivals, and that is something that I really love the challenge of. And playing with Jim really put that situation in front of all of us in his first lineup.
Yeah.
After 2 years with Jim, the Working Class Man came out in '85, and that album is actually half of the Body Swerve album, but I played on all tracks, and mixed with 5 tracks recorded in America. Now, I was given the honour, Jim took me over to LA to record on the song Die to Be With You Tonight, which is also it's not on the Body Swerve album, but it's on the Working Class Man album.
Yeah.
That was my first time ever overseas, let alone to be able to record in Beverly Hills, Hollywood, with Jimmy Barnes on a song that in its own turn went #1 in Australia as well. So at the end of '85, it was a matter of going my own way, I suppose, and I made the brave decision to start my own band. For those who perhaps don't quite understand this, I've never been a singer. I'm an instrumentalist. So to start my own band and not be the singer it's not a winning formula for most. But I've worked with some fantastic singers in my band.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the way I like it to be. The catch of working with great singers is if ever I wanted to pluck up the courage of doing it myself, I've got pretty big competition with the guys I've worked with.
Yeah.
So my voice is to let the guitar do the talking.
Yeah, and it certainly does. I mean, so a lot of blues guys, a lot of blues guys that came through Australia, you were generally almost like, the support act, like Buddy Guy, there was...
That's right. Yeah, it was a very exciting times. As I said, I really had to pluck up the courage, I guess, to try and start my own band, and we debuted at the Basement in Sydney, opening for great blues guitar player from the States, Lonnie Mack.
Well, I was there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I recall meeting you there.
Yeah.
And we were booked for one show, and of course we were quite terrified, I think, particularly because it was my own band for the first time in my career. Well, Lonnie was fantastic. It ended up rolling on and sold out 8 shows. And on the 8th show, without any warning, when he finished his last set and went on for the encore, he invited me up to play with him. Yeah. And talk about an adrenaline charge. We had to play with an American blues player that I highly respect. But it also gave me the verve to really give it a shot under my own name. Yeah. By August that year, '86, I was invited to open the show for Johnny Winter for 4 shows in New South Wales. The first one was at Dapto Leagues Club. I was given the privilege of meeting him backstage. And, the first thing he said, I was doing a Lonnie Mack song in my set out of respect for playing. And Johnny Winter's first thing was, "Hey, you got that Lonnie Mack tone," which was one of those magic guitar moments I'll never forget. Yeah. Then in turn, I really get a charge meeting some of these players, let alone having the opportunity to play with them. And then over the years, I've had the good fortune of opening for Robert Cray, Albert Collins, Little Charlie and the Nightcats, Johnny Johnson, and the list goes. Buddy Guy was the big one. I was asked to play on a tour in Chain. Phil Manning was doing his own thing at the time. And as part of that tour, which was the start of 1992, we played, I think, 5 shows with Buddy Guy.
Yeah.
Remember, I've always loved Stevie Ray Vaughan's playing, and a feature of my show to this day is Stevie Ray's instrumental Lenny off his first album.
Oh yeah.
And I did that in the Chain set, and there was actually a golden rule in that tour. You were not allowed to mention Stevie Ray Vaughan's name because he and Buddy Guy were very, very close. And Buddy was actually shattered. He played on the gig on the night that Stevie Ray died. They played together. So you actually were not allowed to mention the name Stevie Ray Vaughan because of his emotional, the hurt. On the last gig, I asked Matt Taylor whether I could play Lenny later in the set, so that, because Buddy was coming in during our set. I just really wanted to hear it for heartfelt reasons. And after the gig, his tour manager said, "Buddy, I'd like to have lunch with you tomorrow." Wow, just another one of my magic moments in my life. It just meant the world to me. And he never mentioned Stevie's name. See, that's his. Even though Stevie Ray was in a picture at the back of that album cover he was promoting, but he was telling me all about the mud and the wolf, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, and all that. Was another real exhilarating boost for my guitar.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, that brings me back to my last clip. That just wanted to show a bit of like when you do like slow blues. There's something about it, just bang, like it hits you hard. And I remember being at this particular gig at the basement, and you just I think you had, I don't know, get all emotional thinking about it. You had Phil Emmanuel, there's a whole bunch, Kevin Burridge was there, a whole bunch of people, and we were all standing at the side of the stage, just like jaws dropping, like it was sensational. That is insane. I'll tell you. How's that, eh? I mean,
I've got to show these guys that clip.
That right. When when that was happening, yeah, I was with Kevin, with my wife Alyssa, you know, and Phil Emmanuel, everyone, and mate, you could just see the looks on everyone's faces because you just nailed it, you know, truly a magical moment for a lot of people, because I'm sure a lot of people at the basement band were pretty much gobsmacked too, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's not just a slow blues for me. That's one that really I created as a live take. It's on my first album under my own name, the Southern Line album. It's called Two Loves, and it's really about, you know, the kind of turmoil that one can have in one's life, about the road less travelled. That's something that it's an improvisation on the album, and yeah, it's something that means a lot to me. But I think as a guitar player who's played in the country rock area with Stars, and then a bit of blues with Broderick, which became more rock for her own album, which went gold too, by the way. And then playing with Jimmy Barnes, playing at Hard and Mean, but successful albums, and then going out on my own to play. I think that track probably really cuts to the core of my inner self.
Yeah, it's like
emotions through the guitar.
It's just absolutely magic. I'll tell you. So I suppose just to wrap it up, what can we expect from Mal at Giracle next year? I'm hoping one of those moments. I'm sure there will be. You know, yeah.
We'll make a deal with you. We'll play that track at Giracle.
Yeah, you got it. Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love playing on blues festivals because it's not about being, you know, a rock star or playing. You know, I'm one who plays from the heart, and that's what blues does for me.
Yeah. And
I think that song's a good example. So what people are going to see from Mal Eastick and the Spirit Band, I firstly just want to explain that my second album, Spirit, was made in 1999-2000. No, I had to go off the road after that album with some health issues before I could return to the road. But that lineup is Ian Lee's on bass, who's well known for being the forever bass player of Moving Pictures.
Yeah.
Rudy Miranda on drums, who I actually met through doing drum auditions in 1990. And we've played many times over the last 28 years. And John Makey, I first saw him when his band opened for me at a show in 1996, and I asked him to join my band. So we actually worked on the road non-stop from start of 97 through 2001, including recording my Spirit album.
Yeah.
Because everybody has their own sort of touring commitments with different things, I've had quite a few changes of lineup in the Mal Eastick band. But we've been able to do some reunion gigs, and I tell you what, it just clicks, and it's on fire.
Yeah.
And I've had the wonderful pleasure of reconnecting with them recently, and I want to ask them if they could do Giracle with me. And that's why for the very first time it's advertised as Mal Eastick and the Spirit Band, which really means the band on my Spirit album.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a great time, and we're really looking forward to playing on the festival.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, we're really looking forward to it too, mate. I'm pretty excited because, I mean, you know, we've got some great guitarists there, and to have you leading the charge is something else.
Well, and I regard that as an honour, and I really appreciate you having us on board. You know, I just want to play anywhere and everywhere I can get the chance. So I'm really looking forward to Giracle.
Thanks, mate. Thanks so much for your time, Mal. I realise, you know, it looks like it's a hive of activity around you with Stars. You're about to do a whole bunch of gigs, so there's a lot going on at the moment.
Moving the reunion. Yes. The new Stars album, by the way, is called Boundary Rider, which is a track on my my own first album, The Southern Line. It was one I co-wrote with Andrew Grant from Stars Day. So there's a lot of things coming full circle.
Yeah.
So we're on the road now promoting that. There's possible of a second album going to be happening.
Wow.
Which means the reunion that we're being able to do, but all of us are doing other projects as well.
Yeah.
We're back on the road. It's more of heartfelt beginnings as well as my own blues band touring, and that's what we're going to be doing at Gurukol. Playing the blues for you.
How good was that, hey? Mal got a little bit emotional towards the end of that one because he hadn't actually seen that film clip for a long time, and you know, he's a player from the heart, you know, so he's a heart man. So anyway, now it's time for the competition. Down below, make sure you share and comment below, and register for the chance to win a buddy pack. 1 of 4 buddy tickets, and you could be in the running to Gurukol next year and have a lot of fun. Anyway, next week, which will be video number 9, is Vicar and Linda Bull. I'm a bit excited about this one. A little nervous, a little excited, but anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure you stay tuned for that one.